They did not need proof to take him. They only needed silence. Silence from witnesses who were unsure. Silence from files that were incomplete. Silence from a system that had already decided how the story would end. He stood in court listening to words that sounded official, calm, and final. The words that carried weight. Words that sounded like justice, but beneath them, there was nothing. No solid evidence. No verified facts. No certainty. And the court knew. He was not powerful. He was not connected. He was not prepared for what was coming. He lived an ordinary life, work, home routine. The kind of life that never expects to be interrupted by the knock at the door that changes everything. When they came for him, they spoke with confidence, not questions. They told him it was a misunderstanding, that things would be cleared up. He believed them. That was his second mistake. From the beginning, the case felt unfinished. Statements were vague. Timelines shifted. Details refused to align. Even the people presenting the case struggled to explain it clearly. But clarity was not required. Momentum was. The system had already started moving, and the system rarely stopped for uncertainty. He waited for the moment when someone would say, "This isn't enough." He waited for logic to speak. He waited for fairness to arrive. It never did. In the courtroom, truth didn't enter loudly. It sat quietly, ignored. His lawyer tried to raise questions, but questions are weak against decisions that have already been made. Each objection was acknowledged, then dismissed. Each doubt was noted, then buried under procedure. The judge looked down at the file, not at him. The pages mattered more than the person standing there. And within those pages, there was a truth everyone could see. There was no evidence strong enough to justify what was about to happen. The court knew this, and still it continued. The verdict did not come with anger or drama. It came politely, carefully worded, legally sound, emotionless. A life was reduced to a conclusion. He didn't shout. He didn't collapse. He stood there, trying to understand how something so empty could feel so heavy. When they led him away, the room moved on. Papers were gathered. Chairs shifted. The next case was called. Justice had a schedule to keep. Prisons is not just a place. It is time stolen slowly. Days blend with weeks. Weeks becomes years. Hope becomes something you ration carefully. He replayed the trial in his mind over and over. The missing proof. The unanswered questions. The moment when someone could have stopped it, but no one did. Because stopping it would have meant admitting the truth. And the truth was inconvenient. Outside those walls, life continued without him. Family members aged. Opportunities disappeared. His name became attached to something he never did. The system labeled him processed. The file was closed, but his life remained open unfinished, suspended, waiting for a correction that never came. Years later, cracks appeared, not because the system searched for them, but because they could no longer be ignored. A witness recounted, a document surfaced, a timeline was exposed as impossible. The truth arrived quietly, the way it always does, too late to be welcomed. The same court that once spoke with certainty now spoke carefully, acknowledging mistakes without accepting responsibility, recognizing errors without undoing them. They didn't say he was innocent. They said the process had been followed. Freedom, when it finally came, did not feel like freedom. It felt unfamiliar. He walked out older than he should have been, quieter, changed in ways no apology could fix. The world expected him to be grateful, but gratitude is difficult when nothing was ever owned to the system in the first place. What he wanted was not celebration, it was truth. The real injustice was never just the jail time. It was the knowledge that everyone involved knew. They knew the case was weak. They knew the evidence was thin. They knew the truth didn't support the outcome. And still, they moved forward because systems are not designed to pause for conscience. They are designed to conclude. This story is not rare. It doesn't belong to one man. It belongs to many whose names were forgotten the moment files were closed. People jailed not because they were proven guilty, but because it was easier than admitting uncertainty. Because someone had to pay the price of doubt. Justice does not always fail loudly. Sometimes it fails with clean paperwork, with polite language, with decisions that looks correct on the surface. And that is what makes it dangerous, because when the court knows and proceed anyways. The problem is no longer error, it is choice. This is why this story must be told, not to accuse recklessly, not to destroy trust, but to remind us that justice without truth is only authority wearing a robe. And authority without truth can destroy life quietly, legally, and without ever raising its voice. If this story moved you, there are more like it, because silence protects systems, but stories protect people. Thanks for watching this video. Kindly subscribe to our channel, like and share. Thanks for watching.